Welcome to the Good Life in Health and Wellness, the podcast where we empower you to take control of your health and live your best life. Hosted by Dr. Kate Duncan, who's here to guide you through this journey. Let's face it, most conventional approaches to health are reactive, not proactive. We're often left frustrated, chasing symptoms instead of addressing the root causes. Whether it's dealing with chronic pain, hormonal imbalances, or the stress that keeps us up at night, too many of us feel stuck in a cycle that just isn't working. But what if there was a better way? That's exactly what Dr. Duncan has discovered after years of helping patients like you transform their health. Through a combination of chiropractic care, functional medicine, and personalized wellness strategies, she has seen incredible results. Results that go beyond just masking symptoms. Dr. Duncan has uncovered the secrets to living a truly balanced and vibrant life. And now she's bringing those solutions straight to you. In each episode, Dr. Duncan will dive deep into practical tips, expert advice, and actionable steps you can take to regain control over your health. Whether you're struggling with weight loss resistance, fatigue, or just want to feel your best, this show is here to guide you. So, are you ready to break free from the old ways of thinking and embrace a new path to wellness? Join us every week on the Good Life in Health and Wellness, and let's start your journey to better health together.
Welcome back to the Good Life in Health and Wellness. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. All month long, we are talking about brain health and cognitive clarity. We are looking at brain fog, mental clarity, depression, memory, focus, and the different systems in the body that can either support the brain or quietly disrupt it. Today, we are discussing one of those quiet disruptors, inflammation in the brain. Inflammation is a word that we hear often, but many people only think of it as swelling after an injury, redness around a cut, or soreness in a joint. But inflammation is not limited to muscles, joints, or skin. Inflammation is part of the immune system, is one of the ways the body protects, repairs, and responds. In the right amount, at the right time, inflammation is necessary. It helps us heal. It helps us fight infection. It helps us recover from injury. But when inflammation becomes chronic, excessive, or poorly regulated, it can begin to interfere with how the body functions. And that includes the brain. Have you ever had a day where your brain would just not turn on? Where you were reading the same sentence over and over? You walked into a room and forgot why you were there. You could not find the right word you wanted. You felt tired, cloudy, irritable, emotionally flat, or just not like yourself. Many people call that brain fog. But brain fog is not really a diagnosis, it is a signal. It is the brain saying that something is interfering with its ability to function clearly. Today, we are going to talk about how inflammation may affect the brain, how it may contribute to brain fog, mood changes, depression, fatigue, and poor mental clarity, and what practical steps you can take to begin supporting your brain from a whole body perspective. When we talk about inflammation in the brain, the term often used is neuroinflammation. Neuro refers to the nervous system, and inflammation refers to immune activity. Neuroinflammation involves immune signaling within the brain and nervous system. This can include activity from specialized immune cells in the brain called microglia. Changes in inflammatory messengers called cytokines, oxidative stress, changes in the blood-brain barrier, and communication between the immune system, gut, hormones, and nervous system. Now, it is important to understand that neuroinflammation is not always bad. The brain has its own immune protection system. Microglia are often described as the resident immune cells of the brain. They help monitor brain environment, they help clear debris, respond to injury, support repair, and maintain balance. In the right amount, microglial activity is protective. The problem comes when these cells become overactive, triggered too often, or are unable to return to a balanced state. You can think of microglia like the brain's cleanup crew and security team. When everything is calm, they patrol, clean up, and help maintain order. But if the alarm keeps going off over and over again, the security team may become more reactive. They may start responding aggressively to signals that are not true emergencies. And when the brain's cleanup crew is constantly in crisis mode, normal brain communication can be disrupted. That disruption may affect focus, memory, mood, motivation, emotional regulation, and mental energy. This is one of the reasons inflammation can be such a silent disruptor. You may not feel it as swelling in the brain. You may feel it as brain fog, fatigue, irritability, low mood, poor focus, or that feeling of being mentally slowed down. The brain is not separate from the rest of the body. We often talk about brain health as if it is only about thoughts, emotions, memory games, or mindset. Those things matter, but the brain is deeply connected to the immune system, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, digestion, movement, oxygen, nutrients, stress chemistry, and inflammation. Think about how you feel when you have the flu or a bad virus. You may feel tired, foggy, unmotivated, achy, emotionally sensitive, or unable to concentrate. That is not because you suddenly became lazy or weak. It is because your immune system is active. Your body is using energy to fight infection and repair. Inflammatory messengers can influence how you feel, how you think, how much energy you have, and even how motivated you feel. Researchers sometimes refer to this as sickness behavior. It is the body's way of pulling energy inward so healing can happen. You rest more, you withdraw, you move less, your appetite may change, your thinking may slow down. This is helpful when you are actually sick. The problem is when the body begins to live in a lower grade version of that state chronically. That is when someone may say, I am not sick, but I feel off, or I'm not depressed exactly, but I do not feel like myself, or I can get through the day, but I do not feel sharp, or my brain feels cloudy all the time. Those symptoms may have many causes, but inflammation is one pathway that deserves attention. A key part of this conversation is the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier is a specialized protective boundary that helps regulate what gets from the bloodstream into the brain. It is not a solid wall, but a highly selective security gate. It allows nutrients, oxygen, and important signals to enter while helping protect the brain from toxins, pathogens, and excessive inflammatory activity. When the blood-brain barrier is functioning well, the brain environment is better protected. When it becomes more permeable or dysfunctional, the brain may become more exposed to inflammatory signals from the rest of the body. This is one way that inflammation outside the brain may still affect what is happening inside the brain. This matters because the immune system communicates through the entire body. Inflammation in the gut, chronic stress, blood sugar instability, poor sleep, infections, autoimmune activity, environmental exposures, and metabolic dysfunction can all send signals that may influence the brain. The brain is protected, but it is not isolated. From a functional perspective, this is a powerful concept. It means that when someone has brain fog, fatigue, mood changes, or poor mental clarity, we should not only ask what is happening in the brain, we should also ask what is happening in the body that may be affecting the brain. Brain fog is one of the most common complaints people describe when their brain is under stress. Brain fog can feel like slow thinking, poor memory, word finding difficulty, trouble concentrating, difficulty making decisions, or mental fatigue. Some people feel like their brain is wrapped in cotton. Others say it feels like they're trying to think through mud. Brain fog can happen for many reasons. It may be related to poor sleep, chronic stress, blood sugar swings, hormone changes, thyroid dysfunction, anemia, low iron, low B12, dehydration, medication side effects, autoimmune conditions, pain, infections, post-viral syndromes, or depression. But inflammation is one possible thread that can run through many of those causes. When inflammatory signaling is elevated, the brain may shift from optimal performance toward protection. This can affect neurotransmitter activity, energy production, blood flow, neural communication, and the way the nervous system processes information. Instead of feeling alert and clear, a person may feel mentally heavy, distracted, or drained. This is why brain fog should not be dismissed. It is not just getting older, it is not just being busy, It is not just a lack of willpower. Brain fog is often a sign that the brain needs more support and the body may need a deeper look. Inflammation is also an important topic in the conversation around depression. For many years, depression was often explained mainly through neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Those neurotransmitters do matter, but depression is usually more complex than a simple chemical imbalance. Research has shown that some people with depression have higher levels of inflammatory markers. This does not mean that every case of depression is caused by inflammation. It does not mean medication is never helpful. It does not mean that counseling, trauma work, lifestyle care, or emotional support are unnecessary. What it means is that for some people, inflammatory pathways may be part of the depression picture. This may help explain why some people with depression do not only feel sad, they may feel physically heavy, they may feel exhausted, they may have body aches, poor sleep, low motivation, brain fog, or difficulty feeling pleasure. They may feel like their whole body is involved, not just their mood. That is an important distinction. Depression is not weakness. Depression is not laziness. Depression is not a personal failure. It is a whole person experience that can involve the brain, immune system, stress response, hormones, gut, metabolism, nervous system, and environment. If depression is part of your story, please hear this clearly. You deserve support. Lifestyle tools can be powerful, but they are not a substitute for urgent care, therapy, medical evaluation, or medication when needed. There is no shame in getting help. A functional approach does not reject conventional care. A wise approach asks what the person needs and what layers of support can help them heal. Chronic stress is one of the major bridges between inflammation, brain fog, and mood changes. The body has a built-in stress response system designed to help us survive. When you perceive danger or pressure, your body prepares to respond. Your heart rate may increase, your muscles may tighten, your breathing may change, your blood sugar may rise, your digestion may slow, your attention may narrow. This is helpful in a true emergency. The problem is that many modern stressors do not come and go quickly. Financial stress stays, work pressure stays, caregiving stress stays, pain stays, poor sleep stays, relationship stress stays, technology stimulation stays, new stress stays, and when the stress response stays turned on too long, the brain and body begin to live in a state of chronic alarm. A major player here is the HPA axis, which stands for hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This system helps regulate cortisol and other stress-related signals. Cortisol is not bad. We need cortisol. It helps us wake up, respond to stress, regulate blood sugar, and manage inflammation. But when cortisol rhythms become disrupted, the effects can ripple through sleep, mood, energy, immune function, digestion, and mental clarity. Think of the stress response like a smoke detector. A smoke detector is helpful when there's a fire, but if it is going off all day because the battery is dying, it is no longer helping you to feel safe. It is creating constant alarm. Chronic stress can do something similar in the body. The alarm system stays on. The immune system becomes more reactive, the nervous system becomes more sensitive, the brain starts operating from protection instead of clarity. Sleep is one of the most important tools we have for brain health. Sleep is not just rest, it is brain maintenance. During sleep, the brain processes memories, regulates emotions, supports immune balance, resets hormones, and clears metabolic waste. When sleep is poor, focus, mood, patience, appetite, pain sensitivity, blood sugar, and decision-making all can suffer. When someone is not sleeping well, the brain has less time to recover. The next day, they may feel foggy, forgetful, anxious, irritable, or emotionally reactive. Many people try to push through with caffeine, but caffeine does not replace true restoration. It may cover fatigue for a while, but it does not give the brain the recovery it needs. Chronic sleep loss can also increase inflammatory signaling, making the brain more vulnerable to brain fog, fatigue, and mood changes. This is one reason several nights of poor sleep can leave someone feeling more sensitive, more overwhelmed, and less mentally clear. Blood sugar stability is another major piece of brain health. The brain uses glucose as fuel, but it does not like extreme highs or lows. When blood sugar spikes and crashes, people may feel shaky, anxious, irritable, tired, hungry, foggy, or unfocused. A brain supportive morning starts with steadier fuel. Many people wake up tired, drink coffee on an empty stomach, skip protein, rush into stress, and then crash later in the day. Protein, fiber, healthy fat can all help support more stable blood sugar and better focus. Examples include eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds, a protein smoothie with greens and flax, or leftovers from a balanced dinner. Everyone does not need to eat the same way, but if you struggle with brain fog, afternoon crashes, irritability, or fatigue, your sleep and blood sugar patterns are worth paying attention to. The brain needs fuel, but it needs steady fuel. The gut and the brain are constantly communicating. They communicate through the nervous system, immune system, hormones, microbial metabolites, and inflammatory messengers. This is sometimes called the gut-brain axis. The gut is not just a digestive tube, it is deeply involved in immune regulation, nutrient absorption, detoxification, and signaling. When the gut is irritated or inflamed, it may contribute to systemic inflammation. That inflammation can communicate with the brain. This does not mean that every brain symptom starts in the gut, but digestion is often an important clue. Bloating, constipation, diarrhea, reflux, food sensitivities, low appetite, cravings, or irregular bowel habits may tell us something about the internal environment. Food quality plays a major role here. Highly processed foods, low fiber intake, excess added sugar, alcohol, and poor nutrient density may contribute to inflammatory patterns in some people. On the other hand, whole foods, fiber-rich plants, quality protein, healthy fats, herbs, spices, and colorful produce can help support gut health and inflammatory balance. A Mediterranean-style food pattern is one of the most researched approaches for brain and heart health. This pattern emphasizes vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, olive oil, fish, herbs, and minimally processed foods. It is not about perfection. It is about shifting the overall pattern towards foods that gives the body more of what it needs and less of what it has to recover from. Movement is one of the most powerful tools for brain health. It increases blood flow, helps the brain receive oxygen and nutrients, supports insulin sensitivity, helps regulate stress hormones, improves sleep quality, supports mood, and may help calm inflammatory pathways. The good news is that movement does not have to be extreme to be helpful. Walking matters, strength training matters, mobility work matters, gentle stretching matters. A short walk after meals can support blood sugar regulation, and strength training helps maintain muscle mass, which is important for metabolism, glucose control, and healthy aging. When people are dealing with fatigue or brain fog, they often think they need to wait until they have more energy to move, but gentle, consistent movement can actually be part of rebuilding energy. The key is to start where you are. If your body is exhausted, start small. If pain limits you, choose safe and appropriate movements. Movement should not be punishment. It should be communication. It tells the brain and the body, we are alive, we are circulating, we are adapting, we are healing. Chronic pain can also have a major impact on brain health. Pain competes for attention, interrupts sleep, increases stress chemistry, and can leave people feeling irritable, anxious, discouraged, or depressed. Pain is not always just a local issue. Chronic pain can involve the nervous system, immune signaling, brain processing, and emotional regulation. And this is why addressing pain matters for brain health. Chiropractic care, movement, posture support, mobility work, soft tissue care, nervous system regulation, sleep support, and anti-inflammatory habits can all be part of helping the body feel safer and function better. The brain is also a high-demand organ. It needs nutrients to function well. It needs amino acids from protein, healthy fats, B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, iron, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and other key nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, are often discussed for brain health and inflammation. Food sources include salmon, sardines, trout, tuna, walnuts, chia seeds, and flaxseed. B vitamins support energy production, methylation, and neurotransmitter function. Iron, vitamin D, and magnesium also play important roles in energy, mood, immune regulation, sleep, and nervous system function. None of these nutrients work alone, but when the body is missing key building blocks, the brain may have a harder time functioning clearly. If you are dealing with brain fog, here is a practical checklist to think through. How is your sleep? Are you getting enough hours, and is sleep restorative? How is your blood sugar? Are you skipping meals, under eating protein, or crashing in the afternoon? How is your stress load? Are you living in constant alarm? How is your movement? Are you sitting most of the day? How is your digestion? Are there signs of gut inflammation or poor tolerance? Are there nutrient concerns such as iron, B12, vitamin D, magnesium, or omega 3s? It is also important to consider medical issues: thyroid dysfunction, anemia, sleep apnea, hormone changes, autoimmune conditions, infection, medication side effects, neurological concerns, and mental health conditions can all contribute to brain fog. This is why persistent brain fog deserves curiosity, not self-criticism. Let's talk about what you can do. The first tool is to stabilize your morning. Start with hydration, protein, and light. Morning light helps support your circadian rhythm. Protein helps support blood sugar and neurotransmitter building blocks. Hydration helps circulation and energy. This does not have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. The second tool is to add color to your plate. Deeply colored plant foods provide antioxidants, polyphenols, minerals, and fiber. Blueberries, leafy greens, broccoli, peppers, herbs, olive oil, green tea, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, and colorful vegetables can help support the body's inflammatory balance. The third tool is to move daily. Start with a 10-minute walk after one meal per day. If that feels easy, try after 2 meals. If you are already walking, add strength training. If pain limits you, start with gentle mobility or work with a provider who can guide you safely. Movement improves circulation, blood sugar, mood, sleep, and nervous system function. The fourth tool is nervous system regulation. Chronic stress can keep inflammatory signaling elevated and make the brain more reactive. Breathwork, prayer, meditation, heart math style coherence breathing, journaling, time outdoors, and connection with safe people can help the body shift out of constant alarm. This is not about pretending stress is not real. It is about giving the body repeated signals that it is allowed to recover. The fifth tool is sleep protection. Keep a consistent sleep and wake time when possible. Get morning light, dim the lights in the evening, reduce late night scrolling, avoid heavy meals and alcohol close to bedtime when possible. Keep caffeine earlier in the day. Sleep is one of the brain's most powerful repair rhythms. The sixth tool is reducing unnecessary inflammatory inputs. This might include reducing ultra-processed foods, addressing chronic pain, improving oral health, managing allergies, reducing alcohol, supporting gut health, improving blood sugar, and paying attention to your mental inputs. Constant news stress, online conflict, and doom scrolling can keep the nervous system in alarm. Your brain is listening to your environment all day long. Imagine someone who comes in saying, "I just cannot think clearly anymore." She feels tired, foggy, irritable, and overwhelmed. She says she keeps forgetting words, losing focus, and crashing every afternoon. It would be easy for her to assume that she is just getting older or that something is wrong with her personally. But when we look at the pattern, we see something different. She sleeps 5 to 6 broken hours a night. She wakes up at 3 a.m. She drinks coffee before eating. She skips breakfast or grabs something quick and sweet. She sits most of the day. She has neck tension and headaches. She scrolls late at night. She's under caregiving stress. She rarely gets outside. She's not eating enough protein. Her meals are inconsistent. Her nervous system is always on alert. That is not one problem. That is a stack of stressors. Her brain is not failing. Her brain is responding to the environment she's living in. So we start gently. Protein at breakfast, morning light, a 10-minute walk after lunch, more water, fewer screens before bed, colorful vegetables, a realistic bedtime routine, breathing before sleep, gentle care for pain and tension. After a few weeks, she may say, I feel like my brain is coming back online. And that is the power of supporting the system. What I don't want you to hear today is, great, now I have another thing wrong with me. That is not the message. The message is that your symptoms are communication. Brain fog is communication. Fatigue is communication. Mood changes are communication. Poor focus is communication. The body is always trying to adapt. Sometimes it adapts beautifully. Sometimes it adapts under strain. When the load becomes too heavy, symptoms show up. Those symptoms are not failure, they are feedback. Inflammation is not a life sentence. Brain fog is not a personal flaw. Depression is not weakness. And fatigue is not laziness. These are signals that the brain and body need support. The goal is to not chase perfection. The goal is to reduce the burden and increase the support. More nourishment, more rhythm, more recovery, more movement, more sleep, more steadiness, less chaos, less inflammatory load, less constant alarm. Small changes done consistently can send the brain a very different message. Let's bring this home. Inflammation is part of the body's healing and defense system. In the right amount, it protects us. But when inflammation becomes chronic or poorly regulated, it can affect how the brain functions. Neuroinflammation may involve microglia, cytokines, oxidative stress, blood-brain barrier changes, and communication between the immune system and nervous system. Research continues to connect inflammatory pathways with depression, cognitive dysfunction, fatigue, sleep disruption, and neurodegenerative processes. Although the relationship is complex and not the same for everyone, the practical message is this: support your brain by supporting your body. Stabilize blood sugar, prioritize protein and fiber, eat more colorful whole foods, move daily, strength train when appropriate, protect sleep, manage stress in small, consistent ways, address pain, support gut health, reduce unnecessary inflammatory inputs, and seek medical care when symptoms are new, severe, persistent, or worsening. Your brain does not need perfection. It needs support. It needs rhythm. It needs nourishment. It needs safety. It needs sleep. It needs movement. It needs recovery. And when those pieces begin to come together, many people notice that their clarity, mood, and energy begins to improve. Here's your challenge for this week. Choose one brain-supporting habit and do it every day for 7 days. Not 10 habits, one habit. Maybe it's eating protein within the first hour of waking. Maybe it is taking a 10-minute walk after lunch. Maybe it is shutting screens off 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it is drinking more water before coffee. Maybe it is adding 2 servings of colorful vegetables each day. Maybe it is taking 3 minutes to breathe before bed. Choose one habit that tells your brain, we are safe, we are supported, we are healing. Small daily choices add up. And when it comes to brain health, consistency often matters more than intensity. Thank you for joining me today on the Good Life in Health and Wellness. I hope this episode has given you practical tools to better understand how inflammation can influence brain fog, mood, mental clarity, fatigue, and overall cognitive function, and to begin supporting your brain through better sleep, steadier blood sugar, nourishing foods, movement, stress regulation, and whole body healing. Next week, I'll be discussing Why Am I Always Tired? A functional look at fatigue. We'll look at fatigue from a whole body perspective, including blood sugar, stress, hormones, sleep quality, inflammation, nutrient status, and the daily habits that either drain or restore your energy. And as we wrap up this month's focus on brain health and cognitive clarity, I also want to give you a preview of where we are headed next month. Our next topic will be sleep and fatigue solutions, chronic fatigue, and sleep optimization. We are going to talk about why so many people are exhausted, why sleep does not always feel restorative, and what you can do to start rebuilding real energy from the inside out. Until then, take care and keep living the good life.
Thank you for tuning in to the Good Life and Health and Wellness podcast. We hope you found today's episode insightful and empowering. If you know someone who could benefit from the information, please share it with them. It could make a big difference in their health journey. Your reviews mean the world to us. They help us reach more people and make a greater impact. So if you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to leave a review. Curious about how Dr. Duncan is transforming healthcare? Visit www.duncancairo.com to discover the unique and innovative approaches that set her apart. Thank you again for listening. We can't wait to connect with you in our next episode.